Controversy tonight over the Vinton Railroad crossing where a teenage girl was killed this weekend.
Plus, the Northwest Airlines fares are going down. Find out how you might benefit. 7 News Nightcast is next.
Closed captioning for KPLC 7 News is brought to you by Christus St. Patrick Hospital. From KPLC TV, this is 7 News Nightcast.
She was a popular teenage girl from Vinton, a senior maid on the homecoming court, a member of the basketball team. But Mallory Young's life was cut short yesterday when a train collided with her car at a railroad crossing. Local reaction tops our news tonight. Good evening and welcome to 7 News Nightcast. I'm Cynthia Arsenault.
And I'm Brian Burns. Thanks for joining us. 17-year-old Mallory Young was the second person killed at the Eddy Street train crossing in 3 years. That sad statistic has state highway officials taking notice tonight. The most recent fatality happened yesterday. Police say Young was driving south on Eddy Street when a Union Pacific train slammed into the side of her car. Back in 1998, a man on a bicycle was killed at the same crossing. Many Vinton residents say it needs to be made safer.
I think they need a crossing there because there's too many deaths that happen on that track. We don't hear the train blow. Yeah. That's what is happening. So I've experienced it.
What do you think?
It's too dangerous for the people itself. Because sometimes those trains, you can't see them coming. They go too fast.
State highway officials today said the crossing should be closed, especially in light of federal mandates to reduce the number of crossings for safety reasons. The railroad did close the crossing once back in 1997, but reopened it after residents protested. Young's funeral arrangements are being handled by Combre Funeral Home.
Trial is scheduled to start tomorrow for the Lake Charles man accused of attacking his estranged wife at a local Walmart. Derek Lee Daigle was arrested last September after he allegedly went into the Nelson Road Walmart with a shotgun and strangled his wife with an electric cord. The woman passed out but recovered. Daigle faces numerous charges, including attempted second-degree murder. His trial is set to start at 9 in the morning. Meanwhile, another Lake Charles man won't get his day in court until sometime next year. Donald Cogswell, a former police officer accused of sexually harassing women while on patrol, was supposed to start trial today, but his attorney got a continuance. No word yet on which date his trial will be held next year.
Well, Lake Charles man will spend the next 40 years behind bars for a rape he committed earlier this year. In May, 46-year-old Roy Edwards was arrested for raping a 20-year-old woman inside her Azalea Street home. He forced himself on her using a cuticle knife as a weapon, and today he agreed to plead guilty to forcible rape, a deal that got him 40 years in prison. The rape victim did agree to the plea bargain.
Members of the Lake Charles Fire Department Honor Guard are headed to New York. Their mission is twofold: to pay their respects and bring a very large gift. 1 week after the terrorist attack, the Lake Charles Fire Department held a 3-day boot drive. The firemen collected $47,000 for New York firefighters' families. On November 18th, they'll attend a memorial service for their brothers killed in the attack, and they'll give the donation to the families.
It's our way to help. We're going to go up there, we're going to honor those that fall, and just honor their life and their family and everything else like that. The memorial services that we've gone to in the past, see the family, just everybody else has been around. We're so happy that we were there, man, just really honored them.
The firefighters now need your help. Their trip to New York is expected to cost about $8,000. They're trying to pay the bulk of the expense, but they could use donations. If you're interested in donating to the firefighters' New York trip, call this number, 491-1503.
Retaliation for the attacks continues tonight on Taliban targets in Afghanistan. But the president's decision to keep bombing those sites during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan is causing some controversy. That's why we made that issue the topic of tonight's web poll. We asked, should American forces continue bombing Afghanistan during the holy period of Ramadan? Here's how you responded. 47% said yes, the U.S. should continue the bombing. 52% said no, 1% was not sure. We want to thank all of you who voted in our web poll. Meanwhile, a big step taken today in the war on bioterrorism. Now, potential anthrax victims must wait several nerve-wracking days to learn their status. But thanks to a new test developed by researchers at the Mayo Clinic, test time could soon be cut down to as little as 30 minutes. While there have been few new infections lately, the list of contaminated areas grows. Today, 2 mailboxes at a private post office in the Pentagon tested positive. And in Washington, some good news. The Longworth House building and the Supreme Court reopened this morning. Let's take a break from the news now and check on the weather.
Meteorologist Josh Baines is at the weather board tonight. Josh?
Thanks, Brian and Cynthia. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s across the area, under plenty of clear skies, 62 in Lafayette, 58 right now in the lake area. We had a few high clouds over New Orleans. Those just kind of shifted off to the south, and we're left with clear skies across much of the area. So get outside and enjoy them stars. Overnight tonight, we'll see temperatures drop down to the low 50s and mid-70s expected by noon. Afternoon hours tomorrow, look for mid to upper 70s. The big difference with tomorrow will be the wind. We're not expecting as strong of a wind as we saw today. Today we had winds around 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow just switch for them to be around 5 to 10 out of the east-northeast, and we'll complete this forecast in a little bit.
Thanks, Josh. Lake Charles residents will head to the polls this month for a special election. On the ballot, 2 amendments to the city charter. One will change the way the police chief is put into office. The other addresses the office of mayor. Voters will decide what happens if a current mayor resigns or for some reason can't perform his duties. That election is November 17th. Meanwhile, absentee voting is already underway for the election. Absentee voting will continue this week from 8:30 to 4:30 at the Registrar of Voters' office and until noon on Saturday. The Registrar's office is in the old Parish Courthouse.
Northwest Airlines' latest push to get people flying again could benefit you when the airline locates here next month. Today, Northwest announced it's cutting some leisure fares, some up to 50%. The airline is also discounting corporate business travel. The new fare structure is the latest move Northwest is making as the carrier tries to woo passengers back to the air following the attacks. Next month, Northwest will become the second airline at Lake Charles Regional Airport. At last word, the first flight scheduled is on December 19th.
And still to come on Nightcast, Hurricane Michelle leaves a big mess behind in Cuba.
And an important lunch date today for the world's first recipient of a self-contained artificial heart.
Plus, creatures from the deep take center stage in tonight's video of the day. Stay tuned for their stories after the break. Video of the day from Portland, Maine, where an unusual lobster was caught over the weekend. The bicolored crustacean is fairly rare, though biologists say they have seen a two-tone lobster before. Blue, white, even yellow lobsters have surfaced off the Maine coast in the past. The experts say you can just blame it on genetics. Another underwater oddity in our bonus video of the day. This one from northeast Colorado features a 35-pound carp. The giant fish did set a state record and got one fisherman some publicity. The town newspaper put 20-year-old Adam Wickham on the front page. So what do you do with a fish like that? Well, most would probably eat it or mount it, but not Adam. He buried it in his own backyard. A wildlife biologist says the huge carp is probably about 20 years old, the same age as the man who caught it.
Here's what's making news city by city tonight. Construction began today to expand the streetcar tracks in New Orleans. The tracks on Canal Street were taken out a number of years ago and were replaced with buses. But now officials want to bring them back to that part of the historic city. This afternoon, transit authority workers started excavating the neutral ground along the street to reinstate more tracks. The work should be complete by May. More news out of New Orleans tonight. NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue was there again today, discussing Super Bowl security with local and state officials. This afternoon, he met with Mayor Mark Morial and Governor Mike Foster. The group plans to ask the federal government to designate the Super Bowl as a special event to allow federal authorities to help with security. Super Bowl 36 will be played at the Superdome February 3rd.
Topping our look at news from around the world tonight, Cuba is still reeling from a killer hurricane that slammed the island nation overnight. At least 5 people were killed when the shell made landfall. Also, 24 homes in Havana have collapsed. Communications are down in much of the nation, making further damage assessment difficult. A tense afternoon in South Florida after a man led police on a dangerous car chase. Police say the suspect hit a man on the head with a hammer, then took his SUV. Officers chased the alleged carjacker for about an hour. The pursuit ended after the suspect pulled over and dove out of the vehicle. He was immediately apprehended by police. The world's first recipient of a self-contained artificial heart had an important lunch date today. 59-year-old Robert Tools had lunch with Louisville Mayor Dave Armstrong. The meal was part of a special promotion encouraging people to dine out following the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Tools just got out of the hospital last week. Still to come on Nightcast, details about a new study that has uncovered a silent risk factor lurking in some heart patients.
Plus, see how weight training helps some very unique patients lower their risk for heart disease. Well, the health stories when 7 News Nightcast returns.
Floral beauty, home accents. These are just a few of the exquisite items that can be found at Elisa's Florist and Country at Heart gift shop. Elisa's Florist can serve you with many kinds of flower arranging services. Our Country at Heart gift shop offers some of the finest gifts in home decor, including Lamborghini, Precious Moments, Yankee and Colonial candles, and much more. Once you choose from our fine selection of gifts, we can wrap and deliver or ship to that special person. For all your floral and gift needs, Elisa's Florist and Country at Heart gift shop, 2950 Maplewood Drive in Sulphur. I'm with Rhonda of Fashion Express, and Rhonda, you're continuing an awesome sale.
We are, Kay. We just got back from New York, and we're continuing our buy one, get your second item 50% off. Got new suits, evening wear, lots of sweaters. The new sweater coat's really hot right now. Also, a great shipment of handbags, lots of reds, blacks, and camels. Got a great shipment of sterling silver, rings. We also have body jewelry, necklaces, earring sets. So come in, take advantage of the great sale. Buy one, get your second item 50% off.
We begin tonight's HealthCast with some important news for heart patients. A new study has uncovered a silent risk factor. The research finds that more than half of patients whose heart arteries re-narrow after angioplasty may not have any symptoms like chest pain, meaning there are no warnings that their disease has returned. Researchers say those patients may have a false sense of security about their health when in fact they are at risk for a heart attack. Re-narrowing occurs in 10 to 40% of patients. In light of this study, the experts offered this advice. If you've had angioplasty, see your doctor often so he or she can monitor you closely.
There are more than 200,000 Americans living with a spinal cord injury, and paralysis brings with it a host of complications, including a greater risk of heart disease. Now, researchers say they can lower the risk for heart complications with a promising new approach to exercise. Reporter Jennifer Matthews has more.
Common myth. Those people who are exposed to the flu before they got the flu shot. There's nothing in today's flu shot that causes the flu. Where do you get the shot? Call your family physician or visit your local health clinic. So if you get the shot, chances are you won't get the flu.